straight. Nothing is impossible through you. Blind eyes are open, strongholds are broken. I am living by faith. Nothing is impossible.
Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy.
Kids. I'm so excited that we get to hang out today because this morning we're continuing on with our series on worship, one of my favourite things about being a follower of Christ. I wonder, have you guys ever stopped to consider why we worship? I mean, what's so important about it? Is it because maybe God needs the encouragement or a reminder of how good He is? Is it because the music's catchy or just to pass the time? I wonder, what do you think? You know, a few years ago, I went to watch this concert with my mum. I watched as these performers sang and danced on stage for almost 2 hours with the most amazing voices and incredible dance moves I had ever seen. I was blown away by what they had done. At the end of the concert, as the curtain began to fall, I stood to my feet and began to clap loudly. These performers were incredible and they deserved to know about it. And it's kind of like when we worship. See, when we worship God, we're praising Him for who He is and what He's done. Almost as if we're standing to our feet and giving God a round of applause for everything that He's done. And when you think about it, why wouldn't we? You know, as we read the Bible, we learn about how our God is sovereign and powerful, how He's faithful and loving, how He created the entire universe and everything in it, and how there's nothing that our God cannot do. And that's why it says in Psalm 150, praise Him for His acts of power, for His surpassing greatness. See, when we worship God, we're praising Him for who He is and what He's done. When I worship God, I'm praising Him for everything that He's done in my life, for how He's walked with me and beside me, for how He's guided me and strengthened me, and most importantly, I worship God because of His amazing gift of salvation. That He loved me so much, He sent His one and only Son to die on a cross for my sins, just so I could be called His friend. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's something that is truly amazing and worthy of a round of applause. And King David thought so too. And that's why he says in 1 Chronicles, for great is the Lord and most worthy of praise. See, when we worship God, we're praising Him for who He is and what He's done. And the Bible promises that as we draw near to God, He draws near to us. That as we draw closer to God in praise and worship, God comes closer to us. And that's why I love worship so much. But you know, there's one other important thing about worship. The way we worship, the way we choose to worship God, reflects what we think of Him. Let me explain it this way. If I had gone to that concert with my mum and hated the singing and thought the dancing was boring, I would have never stood to my feet and I would have never started to clap. Whether it's a concert or a sporting match or a movie, we only clap if we think they deserve it, right? Well, it's the same with worship. The way we worship God, the way we choose to worship God, reflects what we think of Him. Whether we think of Him as this amazing, all-powerful God who can do anything, or whether we just think of Him as some imaginary character from an old book. See, worship is so important, Nitro Kids. When we worship God, we're praising Him for who He is and what He's done. And the way we choose to worship God reflects what we think of Him. And so this morning, Nitro Kids, I want to ask you, what do you think of God? And is He worthy of your praise?